Something like 85% of people who start Navy SEAL training don't finish. Not quitting isn't even the biggest obstacle. You have to meet the standards or you will be kicked out. How did this scrawny, homeschooled Eagle Scout make it through the most difficult military training on earth? When I showed up to Navy SEAL training, I had never run farther than 2 miles, weighed 135 pounds, and was a mediocre athlete at best. To my left and right were Olympic caliber athletes, and in the back of my mind, I wondered if I belonged. Did I have what it takes? I almost got dropped from training 2 months after Hell Week. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have made it if I hadn't learned a powerful but simple lesson. The lesson I'm about to share got me through SEAL training, but can help you get through grad school, business challenges, and life. It did for me. Heck, it even helped me build this table. In this video, I will show you what the lesson was. It will be obvious how you can use it. But first, you need to understand the truth about mental toughness. Ice baths may be great for recovery, but you can't get used to torture. Imagine you are going to start a business, but we're worried about going bankrupt. Would you light all your money on fire to prepare? In between boot camp and buds, I went to an A school. This is basically just the Navy's backup plan for after you quit SEAL training. There was a group of guys getting ready for buds. They would get up at 4 a.m. and run, swim, and surf torture themselves, trying to get ready for the training that was only months away. This sounded like a good idea, so I decided to join them. After the first day, I decided to sleep in instead and work out on my own. They all told me I wouldn't make it, but the weirdest thing happened. Almost all of them quit buds. In fact, I only think one of them made it through. Anyway, I saw this phenomenon many times during training. We would go on these long runs and it would look like the run was ending. We were nearing the buds compound and the instructors would run right past it. It was crazy. 10 or 15 guys would quit right then. The instructors would turn around and the run was over. Talk about the ultimate mind game. So why the heck am I telling you all this? Well, there are 2 reasons. First, if you're gonna do something hard, have a reason for doing it. Don't suffer for no reason. The guys in A school spent all this time practicing being surf tortured, thinking they could get used to it, but then quit when it happened for real. Second, there is a huge difference between being in cold water or going on a long run and knowing you can stop whenever you want without consequence. It can really mess with your head when you don't know if you will be in the water for 5 minutes or 5 hours, or run 4 miles or 12. You need a different kind of mental toughness to survive something like this. It's very similar to the mental toughness exhibited by some of the great entrepreneurs of our time. They kept pushing, not knowing when or if they would get their breakthrough. I see mental toughness as the discipline to stay on the path despite hardships and setbacks, and to take decisive action in the face of uncertainty. But how do we stay on the path in the face of uncertainty? I almost got dropped from training 2 months after Hell Week. A simple geometry lesson almost kept me from becoming a SEAL. The first swim of first phase, 2 miles, 85 minutes to pass. At 95 minutes, I wasn't even close to the finish line. I was swimming as hard as I could, but effort didn't matter, only results. But effort didn't matter, only results. Somehow I managed to pass the last couple swims of first phase, but I had a big problem when I failed the first 2 swims in second phase. The distance was the same, still 2 miles, but the time was shorter. After failing the second swim, the instructors brought me and a few others into the office and told us if we failed the next swim, we would be rolled or dropped from training. I didn't really know what to do. I'd been trying my hardest, but it wasn't good enough. One of my buddies was one of the best swimmers in the class, so I asked him to pair up with me on the next swim. When we got in the water, he threw me a rope and said, "Try and keep up." He proceeded to drag me through the water for 2 miles. It was incredible. It was like I was behind a jet ski. We finished the swim in about 76 minutes and I breathed a sigh of relief. Crisis averted. Or so I thought. 5 minutes before the final swim of second phase, the instructors pulled me and 2 others into the office and informed us that we had to pass this swim as well. The rules had been changed, and now 50% of all timed evolutions had to be passed, not just 1 per phase. I didn't have any time to enlist my buddy's help, and the 3 slowest swimmers swam together. 79:35, the instructor said as we crossed the finish line. We had made it. Barely. But I knew I still had a big problem. We were starting third phase and the swim time was cut to 75 minutes. Even being dragged, I had not made this time before. I didn't understand how my swims were fine in the pool but terrible in the ocean. When I learned what it was, I went from 100% effort, failing, or barely scraping by to what could honestly be described as a calm morning swim. I even finished in 69 minutes on one. I couldn't believe it. So what was this lesson and how can you use this simple principle? First, I had to understand that no amount of sheer effort was going to get me through this. Second, I had to realize that others possessed this skill that I was lacking. Third, I had to find someone to teach me this skill. So that's what I did. I asked one of the instructors for help. He asked me what my problem was, and after I explained, he asked me if I had ever heard of guiding. A simple geometry lesson, how to guide effectively, and some extra sessions in the pool was all I needed. I never had an issue with the swims again. So if you're working really hard on something but you aren't getting the results, are you making the same mistake I was making on the swims? I've seen a bunch of entrepreneurs, including myself, make this same mistake. Anytime I'm struggling with something, I remember this lesson. Have I put forth the effort, but it isn't working? Is there someone who can drag me along and open my mind to new possibilities or skills? Is there someone that can teach me these skills? This is a simple but powerful lesson, but you will never fully implement it if you can't move past failure. I really didn't learn about failure until after leaving the Navy. I thought I had, but there is something about hitting rock bottom without a safety net that teaches you about failure. So if you want to learn a powerful but simple lesson on failure, then watch this video next.